Chris Cuomo there asked much more of Secretary Clinton, specifically on how she would respond to personal attacks from Donald Trump.
You know where Donald Trump is going. He has started early, and he has adopted the go ugly early mentality. Heavily personal about you and your husband. Your response has been, I'm not going there.
Right.
I'm going to stay above it.
Right.
The risk is that that's what Jeb Bush said. That's what others said. And the stink wound up sticking to them. Are you concerned that by ignoring the attacks, they become more powerful?
No, I'm not, because I think people can judge his campaign for what it is. I'm going to run my campaign. I'm not so much running against him as I am running for the kind of future that I think America deserves to have, and that I believe I'm the best candidate to deliver. So that's why I talk a lot about what I will do economically, what I will do on education, on health care, how we are going to bring the country together. I have a lot of experience working across the aisle with Republicans. I did it as First Lady, as Senator, as Secretary of State. I'm very confident that we're going to lay out my record of accomplishments, my ideas, my vision for the future. He can say whatever he wants to say, but I think in every election, people want to know, what are you going to do tomorrow? What's the future going to look like if I entrust you with this most solemn responsibility? And that's exactly the kind of campaign I am running, and I intend to keep running.
Joining me now, Stephen Miller, senior advisor to Donald Trump, who is also a top aide to Senator Jeff Sessions, a Trump ally. Stephen, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's just begin with the top headline out of that interview, that Hillary Clinton says, your guy is not qualified to be president. I want your response.
Well, we obviously agree with Bernie Sanders that Hillary Clinton isn't qualified to be president. But I have to say, honestly, I feel bad for Bernie Sanders supporters, and I'll tell you why. Thanks to superdelegates, the Democratic Party is on the verge of nominating the most pro-war, pro-Wall Street lawmaker in the modern history of the Democratic Party. I mean, that's amazing. Think about it. You have a candidate in Hillary who's running on a pro-war platform about what she did in Libya, about what she's doing in Syria, about the toppling of the Egyptian regime, and the military, of course, took back control, who's running on a pro-Wall Street, pro-war agenda. That's not the right fit for the Democratic Party or the country.
Okay, let's not I don't want to argue Benghazi with you. There's a lot of pieces there. Just back, though, on the question as to whether or not she thinks, Donald Trump is qualified. Can you directly respond to that?
Well, like we said, Bernie Sanders is correct, and Hillary Clinton is not qualified to be president.
Do you think Hillary Clinton is qualified to be president?
Of course not. Look at her judgment. Hillary Clinton went to war in Iraq. Hillary Clinton's decisions in Libya have unleashed an operating base for ISIS that will be a scourge of terrorism against the entire Western world. Hillary Clinton's platform is, I want to start wars in the Middle East and then import all the refugees into the United States and other countries without knowing who they are. That is a recipe for disaster.
What about how she is criticizing Donald Trump on how he's essentially praising a dictator, Kim Jong-un, and criticizing a longtime U.S. ally in the UK? How is that fair?
Donald Trump's position on Britain is that we want a strong Britain. We want a Britain that stands up for British values, and in that message we will find a great partner in the British people and a great partner in whatever government leads the British people. In the case of dealing with foreign dictators and strongmen, Hillary Clinton's basically saying, stay the course. She's saying, if you elect me, on every policy that hasn't worked, I'm going to keep doing that exact same thing, whether it's on Wall Street or whether it's on foreign policy. Can anybody say that our North Korea policy is working?
Why does he want to sit down with a dictator? That's something that the U.S. just doesn't do.
Like I said, anybody who looks at the Middle East and who looks at our Asian relationships and who looks at all of our foreign policy troubles and says, oh, the way we're doing it right now is perfect, well, I would just have to disagree with him. The way we're doing it right now isn't working. Also, remember, he's talked about with China using economic leverage to get them to bring North Korea into line. But right now, what we have in North Korea is an unmitigated disaster.
What about...
And Clinton's the reason, by the way, Clinton's the reason why, Bill Clinton, is why North Korea is nuclear. Let's not forget that.
What about the disaster today, the Egypt plane that went down in the Mediterranean Sea? I mean, very quickly, before the U.S. even came out and said it's likely terror, Donald Trump tweeted that it looks like terrorism. Hillary Clinton in the interview painstakingly went out to point out that, when she was involved in the Situation Room and had to was part of the team that made the difficult decision to take down bin Laden, she wasn't quite sure that Donald Trump would have made the right decision. When you look at the quick tweet, one could say that is a whiplash response. What's to say he wouldn't have whiplash responses if in the White House?
Well, Donald Trump is saying the same thing that all the intelligence experts are saying.
But hours before, that's the point.
So I guess if you're saying that Donald Trump is prescient and saw something a few hours before other people saw it, that would be a compliment. Just like he warned about bin Laden in 2000, just like he warned about Iraq when the conventional wisdom in Washington was in favor of that intervention the way that Hillary was. But I would also make the point, you want to talk about bin Laden, Bill had a chance to get bin Laden and he didn't take it.
But he's not running for president. I'm talking about Hillary Clinton.
But what did she say? She said that she put Bill Clinton in charge of the economy, right? Bill Clinton gave us NAFTA, destroyed our middle class. Bill Clinton put China in the World Trade Organization, the worst strategic blunder anyone can remember. And let's also keep in mind, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, and she was the top diplomat dealing with China. What happened then? $1 trillion in trade deficits with China, getting her Wall Street friends rich, while we lost our middle class.
And
that's the Clinton legacy, offshoring and foreign wars.
She's happy to, attack back, counterpunch back on issues such as what Trump has said about NATO, about nukes around the world, again, about Kim Jong-un. But on the personal attacks, we know Mr. Trump has already said she was an enabler of her husband's infidelities more than once. She says she won't attack back in that regard. How much more aggressive will your campaign be?
Well, I think we're definitely going to be a lot more aggressive, and you're going to see an increasing
on the personal attacks?
On every kind of attack, because Hillary Clinton would be an extraordinarily dangerous person to put in the White House. We can't afford to keep having these foreign wars in the Middle East. Hillary Clinton is a candidate of reckless war and foreign intervention. What we're going to do instead is focus on defeating terrorism. And if that means we have to work with countries in the Middle East that don't share our values, but do share our goal of eliminating terrorists, then that's what we're going to do. That's a big difference. Instead of foreign interventions for democracy, working with our Arab partners to destroy terrorism. And Hillary Clinton won't even say the words radical Islam, even if she's going to flood them into our communities, refugees whose backgrounds we don't know. That's not safe. It's not compassionate. And I can tell you this, you want to talk about the women vote. One of the biggest issues facing moms all across this country is the quality of education. Our schools cannot afford to educate the world's refugees.
Okay. I know that the Clinton camp would take issue with a number of things you've just thrown out. Stephen Miller, you are absolutely entitled to your opinion. Thank you so much. From the Trump campaign.
Thanks.
Wanted to make sure we had someone from Team Trump responding to what Secretary Clinton said today. Quick programming note, you can watch Chris Cuomo's exclusive full interview with Hillary Clinton. That is tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, only here on CNN.